So it's been a really big week in Victorian real estate. Obviously the easing of the restrictions has helped everyone, and I hope you've all enjoyed the opportunity to get out over the weekend and spend some time with your loved ones and your family. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. Last week there was a big headline from the Commonwealth Bank about house prices dropping by up to 32%. So let's have a look at that more closely. So the 32% drop needs to be taken in the context of their total report, and as you can see on the screen, their CEO said that they need to be prudent and consider a realistic downturn, but also plan for a worst case scenario. And that's what they were talking about, a 32% drop over 3 years under a worst case. Not 1 year, but 3 years. Now we've had those kind of forecasts before and they've always been wrong. So let's have a look at just one example of that. US economist and demographer Harry Dent, who was proclaimed by his publicist as being a modern-day economic Nostradamus, in 2014 he tipped a 30 to 50% fall in property prices in Melbourne, and the reality was that during that time property prices actually rose by 30%. So we've had those big 30% drops predicted before, and they have always been wrong. So back to the CBA, what the media headlines didn't say this week was that the base case showed an 11% drop over 3 years. So not over 1 year, over 3 years. So we need to remember this modelling was done during April, when we had already seen some suburbs drop by around 10 to 15% in the panic that existed back then. And since then, many of those prices have rebounded already. So as I mentioned earlier, auctions and open for inspection started again last week. So let's see what's been happening over the past few days. Our Geelong office reported 30 open homes on the weekend, with 55 groups through and 11 offers, which looked like resulting in 7 sales already. Our Highton office had another fantastic online auction with 7 bidders, went for 10 minutes and finished 10% above the top of the expected range. Our Docklands office have had an amazing time with 7 sales in 7 days, 5 to owner-occupiers and 2 to investors. Out in the west at Taylors Hill, we had a 3-bedroom townhouse that was quoted at $480,000 to $520,000. It generated 27 inspections in 7 days, had 4 buyers competing, and sold for $528,000. Our Craigieburn office has barely missed a beat, with 4 great sales, some of which had more than 50 private inspections, and sold for either full asking price or above the reserve, with multiple offers on each occasion. Out in the east, our Roval office have been averaging over 18 private inspections per day so far in May, which means they're on track for more than 500 inspections for the month. They've also achieved 1 sale a day and 1.5 offers per sale. And finally, in Endeavour Hills, we've got a great case study out there where the property was appraised for $550,000 to $605,000. It was also marketed with exactly that price range. The vendor was hoping for about $570,000, and over a 2.5-week campaign with 19 inspections, it ended up selling for $605,000, so the top of the range, using our exclusive sale by set date method. So that's just a snapshot of what we've seen over the past few days. We weren't quite sure what to expect with the reopening of auctions and inspections, but we've all been pleasantly surprised by those results. And in particular on the weekend, big open numbers, including this one. Grassy Flat Road in Diamond Creek had its first open and had 49 registered adults coming through the inspection, with 3 offers on the first Saturday it was open. And finally, one of our own head office team took their investment property to market for the first time this week. They had 22 inspections on Saturday, and that just underscores what I've been saying for the past few weeks, and that is that we simply don't have enough homes to sell right now to meet the demand from buyers. Now, I'm not suggesting by any means that every property is going to get an absolutely fantastic result, but what we are seeing is that well-priced, well-presented and well-promoted homes are attracting good attention. So talk to your Barry Plant agent about how we can help you with your property. So last week I mentioned that we were starting a new initiative in the Herald Sun, and that kicked off on Saturday. As I'm sure many of you would be aware, local newspapers are no longer being printed during the current crisis. So we're now leading the way by exposing our vendors' properties in the largest metropolitan newspaper in the country. It has up to 1 million readers on any Saturday, and it also has exposure to their hundreds of thousands of digital subscribers. So in these challenging times, we can't think of a better way to give your property even more exposure, and that's in addition to our normal digital marketing strategies. And all of that for only $75 per property per week. So in summary, at the end of our first week of lockdown, we're seeing lots of activity right across the industry, and we definitely need more properties to meet the growing demand that we're seeing already coming from buyers.